Hey, this is Marcus Gustafsson from aetest.com, and today I'm going to show you how you can create some clouds inside of After Effects. So that's what we're going to create today, and we're going to use Trapcode Particular to create the clouds. So let's get started. So before we start with our composition and creating the sky scene, we need to go into Photoshop and create our particle we're going to use with Trapcode Particular. So let's go into Photoshop, and this is the particle I created for Trapcode. And this is simply 10 different layers with 10 unique clouds. And these clouds are actually cloud brushes that I got from DeviantArt. This is the brush I used. And let's go to After Effects, open up a new composition, Pal D1 dB weight screen square pixel, it's alright, 10 seconds, and import our clouds, open, import as composition, drag it down, and go in here. Not going to use the background, and we're going to, every layer in here is going to be 1 frame long. So we go into our composition settings and set the duration to 10 frames and crop down the layers so they are 1 frame long. Here, just need to go there as well. So, you may wonder why I did this, and this is because Trapcode is going to go through this composition and go through these different clouds randomly and choose this as a particle. So let's go back to our composition and new solid and choose particular. There, apply it. And so we're going to replace these particles with our own cloud layer. So let's do our particle and choose custom and choose our layer clouds. Just a warning. And we're going to choose time sampling to random still frames. So Trapcode is going to in here and just go randomly with these frames. And let's make the particle size bigger. There, that's our clouds. So right now the emitter is set to point. So the particles is coming from a point. We're going to set it to box. Set the velocity down to 0. So right now they are in this box that is 50 times 50. And we're going to set the emitter size Z to 10,000. It's really big. I think I'm going to apply a camera as well, 35 millimeters. Null object. You set the camera controller. There. I'm going to make it larger on the X, 5,000. And we're going to make particle per second. We're going to animate. So set that to 10,000 and go forward one frame and set it to 0. So our particle gets created here in the beginning and stops being created because we don't want to see any particles being created under our animation. And they're a bit too few right now, so we're just going to move these 2 keyframes to the right so we get more clouds. That looks pretty good. And we want to change the size randomness of these particles. So let's go into particles and size random 100. And let's import our background. And I got this background from xxc.hue. This is the background we're going to use. Let's drag it down to the composition. And let's move the camera backwards 1000 pixels and turn the background to 3D layer. And what we want to do now is line up this edge with our cloud edge. Just move it down somewhere over here. And we want to color correct this composition so the clouds matches the texture. So we're going to add a new adjustment layer, add the tint effect, and the curves, and change the player on here. Something there. And we want to give the clouds a bit more contrast, so let's go into our clouds and new adjustment layer, apply the curves and just more contrast there. And we want to change the camera angle so the camera is above the clouds and looking down on the clouds. So go into our null object, press R for rotation, and set it to negative around there, maybe. Move it down as well. Looks pretty good. Now we should also give this a more realistic movement, so we're going to change the physics of these particles. So into our particles and go to down physics, disappeared, right? Wind, we wanted to move upwards and a bit to the right as well. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. And we want to add some turbulence field. And we want to affect the position. A bit too much. That looks pretty good. And we want to add a bit more realistic look to this, so we're going to add depth of field on this. So first of all, I need to change the rendering mode to full render plus depth of field, and apply the depth of field as well on the camera. Change that to blur level to 200. Looks pretty good. And we want to add a sun to this, so we're going to create a lens flare. I'm going to make this layer pretty big. Lens flare. There. Change the mode to screen. Somewhere over there. Yep. Maybe a bit too big. Somewhere there. Maybe we should go into our clouds again and change the alpha a bit. Yeah, looks better. And let's animate our camera. So let's go into position. Stopwatch and go forward a bit. And let's move it beneath the clouds. Change the, is it C? Yep. So it starts underneath clouds and goes above. And right, forget change the life of the particles, so set that to 10 seconds. And let's move forward. Oops. 500 pixels. Let's see how that looks. That's a bit too fast. We're just going to move this pixel. Let's see here, easies. Let's render. That looks pretty cool. Let's add some text to this scene. So we're going to type AE Tuts. Change the color there. Turn that into 3D. I'm going to animate the opacity. So let's go to opacity. Make it a bit bigger. I saw that our lens flare is in 3D, so we just turn that into a 3D layer. Nope, wrong layer. Let's see, there's our lens flare. Let's see there. Let's render. And that looks absolutely perfect. So this is the end of my tutorial on how to create some clouds inside of After Effects with some help with Trapcode Particular. This has been Marcus Gustafsson from aetuts.com, and thank you for listening.